Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
What's up, OG5? I love starting a podcast when these fools aren't ready. It keeps them on their toes.
Digitized live from
Friday
the
because
studios in
this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast is the delayed episode of the What's in Your Head podcast, brought to you by our friends at Quantum Internet, because once again my internet goes out. It's out for 24 hours because that's the Quantum Standard Operating Procedure. Now, to be fair, my internet went out around 1 o'clock. I got the normal text message at 4:30 saying, hey, your shit will be up to tomorrow at 2:30, because as we've previously hypothesized that the fine people at Quantum won't let their residential techs work after hours because fuck you and your overtime. But to be fair, I think the Magic Night Trolls fixed it, because it came back online at 12:30 in the morning. Because I was still up. Nitro, man. You remember that?
Obligated to say that quantum fiber is our friend?
No. No. Well, to be fair, once again, when it works, but I'm starting to stitch my TikTok videos so that I can see how often it last time it went out was March 10th. And then so this was April 2nd. I know it went out for 7 days in February, and I know it went out in December. So I couldn't scroll. See, in the Quantum app, it has the envelope with messages, but it won't let me scroll back further than December. So now I'm just going to keep stitching the same video so we can see how often it goes out and how many times they say 24-hour uptime. So the good news is, before the last time it went out, I got a wild hair at my ass, and I went on Amazon and I bought a $23 DVD player. The only hiccup in that plan is I forgot that I have a handful of Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And they don't play Blu-rays. But I haven't gotten to that point yet.
But you have an Xbox.
Carrie's new Xbox does have Blu-ray. Good thing you pointed that out. But now to be nice to Xbox, we haven't watched a DVD on her new Xbox yet. And so I don't know if it requires you to have internet every time, or if they just make you download a DVD playing software the first time. But because we didn't have internet, we couldn't use her player, because when you put the DVD in, it launches Windows App Store, which we had no internet. So I just switched to my DVD player that I bought on Amazon.
All right.
I don't have any DVR-Ws anymore, but I noticed a little button on my remote control that said CD rip. I'm like, how cool would it be if my DVD player ripped CDs too?
Does it?
I don't have any blank CDs anymore.
You guys still got to figure that out. But
the reason I'm bringing it up is I know a lot more people are doing this. I'd love to get back to Kentucky and see if I can find my box of VHS tapes. But millennials in particular, Gen Zs don't really give a shit, really, I don't think, because they're just used to streaming in real time. But a lot of the younger millennials are finding out that all their digital downloads that they bought in the mid-2000s, you buy the DVD, you get the digital download, and then they stop selling DVDs, but you can buy the digital downloads. Yeah, those aren't permanent. You're leasing those licenses, and when the movie company stops making movies and they want to free up storage space, they just delete them. Now, I don't know if this is true. I saw a clip. It was from the Fat Electrician, so I tend to believe it because he tends to research it. He was talking about how, what's the Disney wolf movie, like Toro or Tojo or some shit? Tito, came out in the 90s.
Wolf movie.
Maybe an Iditarod movie. It's a cartoon. He was talking about how Disney has deleted it.
Peter, no, that's not it.
And from what he was saying is, this is such a bullshit scam. It's not like that DVD takes up a whole hell of a lot of hard drive space, right? Yeah. What is it? Maybe a fucking 3 gig file. He said by deleting these movies that Disney can claim loss of revenue for future, and somehow it's some sort of tax break you get with the government. So by deleting that one particular movie plus like 5 other ones, they got a couple $1 million back in like some sort of tax revenue nonsense scam. I'm not sure. I didn't pay a whole hell of a lot of attention because I didn't mean that wasn't the reason I brought this up. But I was just curious. Do you guys have any DVDs still? Did you get rid of them? Have you considered rebuying a DVD player?
I have a DVD player.
I have a DVD player.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's not mine. It was my wife's DVD player.
Well, when I was in Texas, Jeff lives out in the middle of nowhere, and he doesn't have cable or home internet. He just streams from his cell phone. But his kids don't, they're living that ranch life, right? So they don't spend a whole ordinate amount of time online. They stream occasionally, but he has Tom and Jerry and all the old classic cartoons on DVD. And he's got his 5-year-old son walking around popping DVDs out of jewel cases. And I said, you probably have one of the few 5-year-olds in the world that knows how to get a DVD out of a jewel case and load up a DVD player and play it. But then I
My
got the
favorite DVD.
better off dead. But then I got to think there's probably a lot of country cats out there who live in rural areas who probably have 5-year-olds still watching shit on DVDs.
My son, case in point.
Remember how I told you I let Stan borrow my Looney Tunes Golden Era DVD box set?
Yeah, I think so.
I forgot. So when I lived with Liz Wild, who was also a radio personality, God rest her soul, she passed away of cancer not too long ago. She actually had a box of those because they were giveaways that the Warner Brothers sent her producer to give away on her show. I forgot I had two of those. I just found the other box set. So if Stan has my first box set, I still got the other one. They're called the Golden Era, and there's a disclaimer on the back. It says, warning, the contents of these cartoons are probably and may be offensive for modern day and not intended for children. But to give Warner Brothers, well, this was DVD was put out 20 years ago, so they probably wouldn't do it now. But at the time, to give credit to Warner Brothers, they said to remove these cartoons or to delete them would be turning our back on history and acting as if they never existed,
Right.
which you'll never see. But these are the ones where Sam's wearing a Confederate flag, Civil War uniform and the rebel flag, and then you got the one where they got Abdullah the genie, and so it's got all the racial stereotype stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about the World War II ones with where
Those
they
aren't
were
on there
poking
because
fun
these
at the
are
Japanese?
the propaganda stuff's definitely not on there. There may be like perhaps one, but these are like the Looney Tunes cartoons that they aired regularly in the 80s that were written in the 40s and 50s. So these weren't like throwback to our propaganda days. These are cartoons that you guys watched in the 80s that were rerunning from the 50s that we can't play in the late 90s and 2000s because they've been deemed too offensive. Kind of like the original Tom and Jerry with the Black Housekeeper.
Oh yeah, yeah, whooping him with the broom. Yeah.
They kept their voice, but back in the day, they used to have that real kind of offensive hand drawing, whereas the darker tone on the top and the lighter tone in the palms. Very what was that old school style comedy?
Vaudeville.
Very vaudevillian. Of course, these were all drawn in the 40s as well. But Mike, I have a projector.
Ooh.
With a RCA input.
Yeah.
We should bring that over your house one day and do movie night on your back porch. Or I was thinking I could hang like a taunt sheet in my garage door.
Dude, we could do
something
that.
in my driveway.
You want to know what?
Oh
cool?
yeah.
That would be cool to do like camping or something too.
Well, I looked on Amazon and I think I can get like 100-inch outdoor movie projection screen for like $69.
Right.
And so and you have an inverter in your car, and so we can run those off of it also has it's old, too old for an HDMI port, but it has the S video input, it has a VGA input. So we can almost get an HDMI to VGA cable to run off a laptop, but my laptop doesn't have a DVD player on it. But I do have that DVD player that has the RCA output, so we could use that.
I think most PCs these days don't even have a disk drive in them.
No, because no one sells software. I remember when that transition
this
happened.
One doesn't.
I remember when that transition happened, people were going to Office Max and Best Buy still because those stores were still open. They would buy the same Office box, but it came with a business card in it. It said, go to the internet, download it, here's the sticker.
Yep.
Or it would be the CD. It would be the CD. No, they always had the sticker in the CD case of the CD. But yeah, this was the same box, but it just had literally a business card in it. It said Microsoft.com. And of course, they got rid of all that stuff.
Well, I thought it was interesting because you mentioned, the streaming services and stuff like that where you did your digital downloads. I have had this same account So this kind of goes against what you said because, and maybe it's just my particular library because there's 32 digital movies in this library. And I started it back when it was, what was it? Before Voodoo.
Voodoo, running from my magic.
It was something, it was called something else.
I don't even know what the fuck voodoo is.
Ultraviolet or something like that. It was
Okay.
like ultraviolet digital downloads or something like that. And you got the little piece of paper that was in the DVD case.
Mm-hmm.
$5 movies at Walmart and a $5 bin. You get the DVD, you get the digital download, you go online, you get both. And I've had this same account for probably
Now, the
15
movies in
years
your
almost.
deck, just to prove your point, are they mainstream movies or are there some independent shit there?
Relatively. Let's see. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Well,
That's
yeah,
Dr.
why
Seuss.
that's a movie that I don't see they're going to delete anytime because everybody plays the shit out of that. I think it's
Ice
more of the
Age.
I
That
think
was a DreamWorks movie.
yeah, I think it's more of the lesser watched videos that they just delete off their servers.
Well, if here's an interesting one. I don't know why I bought this, but I think it
Morgan,
was
you're
for
on a
my son.
computer or a phone?
Computer.
In that video, they mentioned Sling Blade. While Mike's talking, Google if you can stream Sling Blade anywhere. They're
This
talking about how you can't watch Sling Blade. If you don't have the DVD, you cannot watch Sling Blade anywhere.
do you remember the movie Gordy?
No.
That came it was not yeah, it was a little bit past your guys' time. It was about a talking pig. It was a
Oh yeah,
kid
yeah,
movie.
yeah. It was like the knockoff of Babe.
Yeah, that's on here. Um some lesser known movies. I mean, A Million Ways to Die in the West, that was kind of a lesser known movie.
That was a
Seth MacFarlane, wasn't it?
we
Yeah.
gave away movie
Yeah.
posters for that stand at K Rock.
The
Um,
Beach, one of Leonardo
I'd
DiCaprio
say
movies.
very underrated Leonardo DiCaprio movie
I like that movie.
because it was very drug heavy.
Yeah.
Says you can get Sling Blade on Apple TV, Fandango at home, Voodoo.
Okay, cool.
So that was what I was getting to was they went from Ultraviolet to Voodoo. Voodoo got bought out by Walmart, and then that got bought out by Fandango. And Fandango is now I guess, and you can get your movie tickets and stuff through them, and you do all your digital downloads
Okay,
through them now. So
we have a tendency to get controversial on this show to the point where we can't promote it. So here we're going to get started. What's a better movie, Anchorman or 40-Year-Old Virgin? I watched both of them last night, so I can go into this. Both are Judd Apatow movies.
Yeah.
Both have, with the exception of Will Ferrell and the African American guy, a lot of the same repeating cast. And fun fact, do you remember which cast member went to prison for murder?
That was in both movies.
No, just in well, we'll get to that momentarily. Mike, what's out of the two, what is your personal favorite? Not which one is mostly quoted, which one's had the most memes. Which one, in your opinion, is a better movie?
My personal favorite is Anchorman. And
Morgan?
I think that was the more popular one of the two.
Morgan?
Anchorman by far.
Really?
40-Year-Old Virgin is extremely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But for, I think, my era of generation, I don't think it was quite as funny. I don't think we gravitated and
When's the
kinda
last time you
got
watched it?
like that. Huh?
When's the last time you watched it?
When I was a teenager.
Go back and watch it now that you're almost 40.
Yeah.
It hits a little different.
I'm
When
sure
you're
it
the same
does.
age as the protagonist.
Dude, and how weird that a lot of movies do that. Like the stuff that you watched when you were younger and then you start watching it, as you're an adult and you're like, that's what they were talking about.
I wish I could go back and find 30 something because 30 something was out when I was 15. So I had no
Yeah.
reason to watch it. I would like to
Right.
go back and watch 30 something now that I'm in my 40s.
Right.
So you guys both said Anchorman is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
I pulled out Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, 4 or 5 movies, and Carrie chose those. And we watched 40-Year-Old Virgin first, and then we started watching Anchorman.
Last night?
And 3/4 of the way, I got up and went to the bathroom during Anchorman, and Carrie was falling asleep. And then I started hearing the music get loud and then quiet and loud. Then I thought, oh, well, the movie's over. You know how on old DVDs, the menu screen had played 30 seconds of the theme song super loud. So I thought it was doing that. So I came in, the movie was still on. And I was like, I forgot how fucking long this movie is.
Yeah.
And then I got to thinking, I cannot tell you if I have sat down and watched the entirety of Anchorman. I think every time, I didn't see it in the theater. I think the first time I watched it was at a girl in California's house I was dating, and I think things progressed rapidly through that sitting that I didn't get to see. I enjoy Anchorman. I enjoy the first half of Anchorman. I think it's a little long, and I think the concept gets a little worn out halfway through it. So I personally like 40-Year-Old Virgin better. Morgan, do me quick. Google the runtime of Anchorman and 40-Year-Old Virgin. I could be wrong. It could be the same length, but I feel like Anchorman is almost a 2-hour fucking long movie.
I think it is.
To the point I don't know if I've sat
Yeah.
down and watched it in its entirety all the way through. I've seen it multiple times, but I think I've always got up and done something else, lost the interest, or
94 minutes.
And what
for
about 40-Year-Old
Anchorman.
Virgin?
Really?
That's
That's an
hour.
average.
Well, an hour is 60 minutes, so that's an hour and 3/4. An hour and a half.
It's an hour and a half. Yeah.
An hour and a half. Yeah.
That's an average.
What's
movie.
40-Year-Old Virgin?
An hour and 56. So it's actually longer.
Wow.
Okay.
That may say something about the writing if it feels shorter than Anchorman does.
Well, that just means that you were more in tune with that movie, and when you were watching it, you were paying more attention. So it seemed like it just
Yeah,
moved
I
a
guess
lot
to be
faster.
fair, I might have to wait 4 months and then watch Anchorman first and then watch 40-Year-Old Virgin.
I was gonna say you picked two movies.
Mhm.
That's what that's 3.5 hours of movies in one night, back to back.
Yeah, but I can sit and watch 4 hours of Peanut playing Narc Raiders for 4 hours on YouTube.
Yeah, but see it's a little bit more engaging, I think, than a movie that you've already seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can sit and watch y'all fish for, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah,
but
well, that
that's
ain't going to happen
unexpected.
very much because I went out the other day and my phone overheated again.
Nice.
Oh, man.
As it gets
But-
hotter, my phone's going to start overheating. What I need to do is figure out what Mike did. I think I might have to hook my phone to my new GoPro, but I think even if I put it under my seat, it probably will overheat. Because it wasn't even that hot out. It was like 84 out that day, and I streamed for 20 minutes, and it said shut down YouTube, phone overheating, which is why I had to get a new phone. My old one overheated so much that the glue separated on the back of the phone case after 4 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I heard a funny dad joke, so I'm gonna get it out of the way here.
Yeah.
Here's a good dad joke that I saw on TikTok. I want to share with you guys now. By the fact that there's an existence of a community called Amish, that must mean there's a community who put in full effort and went full
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's bad.
Real classic right there. Yeah. Ish. Pull
Twitter came back to life for like 2 days, and then I think maybe it got too expensive and they shut the feature off. I was on TikTok and someone pointed out the fact that one of the engineers at Twitter, or X, if you will, either they known this or whatever. I think maybe it was just a guerrilla advertising, which probably worked to, unbeknownst to people, show the full capabilities of their AI engine. But the whole thing was that apparently more people in Japan use X than any other civilization. And so for like 4 days, X turned on auto translate between English and Japanese and Japanese and English. So if you went search Japanese, you can see all these Japanese posts in English, and all the Japanese X users were seeing American posts in Japanese. And apparently the young cats in Japan are in love with cowboy culture, barbecue, guns, and Levi jeans. It was just wholesome. Just, hey, my American brothers, I was told to come. If I come to the United States, I need to come to Texas. But then people said South Dakota, and other people saying Missouri. We're just pictures of barbecue, pictures of 19-year-old Japanese dudes dressed in rockabilly stuff, looking like Elvis Presley with the big bouffants and leather jackets, chicks in goth outfits, and just lots of talks about guns, barbecue, the love America, and how Japan themselves are going through a crisis where they're trying to get their immigrants out. So it was just this. It's like, wow, X actually went from being a toxic shit sludge show to just Americans and Japanese people talking about food. And so Japanese person's like posts a picture of man when she's like, does meat really come in this? I was like, no, that's just the sauce.
Well, it's interesting
But
because
the reason I say 4 days is if we go there now,
Yeah.
all you can still do it, but it's not automatically translating. I think maybe it
Yeah.
just drove their data center up, so you can still click on it, but it's more of a pain in the ass to click on one. What are they saying? It was cooler when you could just scroll and it was all automatically translating, but they turned that off.
it's interesting because it seems like our youth and younger people have adopted Japanese culture, and it seems like their youth and younger people are adopting American culture.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even if you look at like the auto scene, there's a lot of people now that are into JDM cars,
Yeah.
Mhm.
cars and trucks.
But I
And
mean, I think a lot of that was because of the Fast and Furious franchise. Let's be honest, for the last 20 years, that dominated the
Yeah, but see, we're too old for that, Morgan. You and I remember like part one and part two. They got like 17 of those motherfuckers at these.
I've
young kids.
never even seen one of them.
Like never. I saw the
but
first
that's
two.
why
and that
that's
was
why
it.
JDM stuff exploded.
Yeah,
As far
especially
as
when they did
as far
Tokyo
as the
Drift and all
automotive
that.
world,
Yeah.
I mean that's why most of the kids that when I was growing up, I mean, I was into cars because my dad was a mechanic. But most of the kids
Yeah.
that were interested in cars and wanted like Nietzsche wheels or like
Mhm.
BBS wheels or something like that, and they wanted and all the new shit is all stance and ballooning your tires
Basically,
and
to
turning your tires like this on an angle and like all
to
that.
late stage millennials and early Gen Zers, the Fast and Furious franchise was to them what Fall Guy and Dukes of Hazzard was to us.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody wanted a Jeep and everybody wanted a fucking Dodge Challenger
Yeah.
or Dodge Charger.
K10 pickup.
Mm-hmm.
God, I almost had the opportunity to buy a K5 Blazer when I was
My
like
dad had one when I was
17.
in middle school. He had like an
He wanted,
81.
he wanted $5
I've
grand
had
for it.
two of them.
I didn't have that much. I wanted that. It was clean too. Had
It
good lift on it.
For the
all that.
most part, it was a parking lot queen. But when I was in middle school, we went down to Kentucky Lake and we took it off roading one time. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll find the picture of mine airborne and send it to you.
Airborne.
Yeah.
So I got a video I'm working on. I'm gonna capture a bunch of the weird shit that I've experienced at kayaking. Sadly, I don't have the video of me. Did we talk about this last week? No, because this just happened. I don't have the video of me pulling the guy's boat with the kids in the
No, you just called me and told me about that.
yeah. Well,
We
so
didn't-
one
we didn't
time,
talk
Morgan,
about that.
I was on my kayak, and the guy put his boat in. He had his like 5-year-old and 6-year-old on it. His boat floated away, and he was trying to get his kid to put it in the trolling motor. I basically just paddled over, grabbed the rope, put it in my teeth like fucking Popeye, and then pulled his bass boat back over on the kayak and gave it to him. So I was kayaking after not catching anything, and I see this red square, and I'm like, that looks like a fuel cell. I'm paddling, I'm like, that's bright red. That clearly hasn't been in the water very long. No green buildup on it. And it's over off Gator Circle. And over to the right, there's a house, but next to the house in the empty lot, there was a truck with a John boat up on the trailer talking to a woman. I'm like, what do these guys do? Like back into her backyard and like somehow dangles to. And he's like, hey, can you do me a favor? And I was like, let me guess, you lost the fuel cell. He's like, yeah. And so I have my stick anchor with that paracord on it with the carabiner. So first I lifted the damn thing up and put it in my boat, and it was heavy, but the gas was leaking out of the back end of the bulb because it was the fuel cell with the bulb with the hose that goes to the engine and the hand pump, and it was leaking all over my boat. So I put it back in the water, and I just tied a rope around it. And he's like, "Oh, can you grab that wood block?" I was like, "This wood block with a cross groove and a real nice, done with a router, and it wasn't like just a piece of wood. It was, mitered and routed on the edges, and it was real nice." So I threw it in my boat and I reeled it over to him. And he's like, you do me one more favor? Like, what's that? He's like, about 15 yards that way. Can you see if you can see my motor? And I was like, Mercury or Johnson? He said like Hayatsu or some shit. It was like some Chinese outboard.
Daihatsu.
And so he got lucky because it hasn't rained in so long that the canals were somewhat shallow, but more importantly, clear. And so I'm standing up on my kayak and I'm not seeing it. And he's like, well, thanks. And I hear him give his phone number to the lady. And then they pull out. Well, what they did is they pulled out, went around the canal and drove up and parked in the field next to me. And I'm paddling, and then I see this white trash bag at the bottom in the hydrilla. And they're parking. I said, well, good news is I can see a white trash bag. So if I can see a white trash bag, I should be able to see your motor. And I'm standing up paddling. I said, oh, there it is. So they came in and jumped in the water. I'm like 7, 8 feet of water, or 6 feet plus a foot and a half of hydrilla. I'm like, what are you guys gonna do? Squat this thing off the bottom of the fucking canal? And they swam over and they tried to squat off the bottom of the canal. And like, dude, it's heavy. Like, do you have a ratchet strap, a rope, anything? He's like, yeah. I said, well, the propeller's facing the bank. So it fell where the head hit and then it fell that way. I was like, go get your ratchet strap, tie it in a lasso, swim down there, tie it around the propeller, and then you guys can at least pull it towards the bank. And so they went down and he's trying to, he tied around there pulling, he couldn't pull it. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to get in this water. And one of them went down, squatted, lifted while the other one pulled it, and it rinsed and repeat. And they finally got it up on the bank. The next house was going to be carrying this thing up through the pepper trees, and I was like, "You guys got it from here." I just fucking paddled off. But while they're in the water, because they're in the water for a good 10, 15 minutes. Well, actually, they had to get out when they went to get out to get the strap. The one guy wanted to stay there. He's like, "Well, I don't want to lose." I said, "Well, I ain't going to wear. I'll keep an eye on it." So they went and got the red strap. They got back in the water, and one guy looked at me. He's like, "Are you recording this on GoPro?" I said, "Hey, man, content's content." I only caught one fucking fish, and you boys are it today. So I stayed there long enough and filmed it long enough until they got it up on the bank. It's like, have a good one, fellas.
You've seen quite a bit of stuff over.
I've
the
pulled a
last,
hockey
like,
stick
5 years
out.
now. Yeah.
I've got a stop sign in my. Actually, I found 2 stop signs. One of them sank. I got the other one in my garage. We had the goat head, the Santeria worship site.
Yep.
The kid with the 2 kids on the bass boat.
The car.
The car that sank in the water. The one I think I live streamed, but I don't have the video of. We went to Eagle Park, across the street from the where you and I tried to go. That was closed off.
Yeah.
These kids, another parked car, another truck parked in the boat ramp with the trailer in the water. Carrie and I get off, put our boats in. This bass boat comes, and we get out of his way, and he sits there. It's 2 kids on it. It's 2 guys on a single jet ski. No life preservers, just doing donuts. And like I said before, I get it. You got a wave runner. But to me, riding a wave runner in a canal is like riding a crotch rocket in a parking lot mall parking lot. There's only so much you can do. It's not like you're going to go cruising forever. It's a fucking canal. And so me and this guy are talking. He's like, I see this shit all the time. And so the 2 guys come back, and they're 2 19-year-old, I don't know, Cuban, I think they're Cuban dudes. And they pull up and they put it on their trailer, and they hear, and the old guy on the bass boat is like a Vietnam vet. He was an older guy, but he was an older guy who's seen some shit and was ready to start some shit. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but they heard him talking, him saying something like, they're saying a parking lot or something. And they realized what they did, so then they decided to be dicks. So they loaded their jet ski up, and then they just started leaning up against the bed of their truck talking. Meanwhile, and the guy finally looked at him. He said, "Are you guys going to move that piece of shit or in what?" And then they got all offensive. You can't walk. What's with the attitude? Why you gotta talk to us like we're pieces of shit? So I got out of my kayak and got back on the bank because there's two of them and one old dude. And the dude's like, fuck it, come on. And they're getting up in his face. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. My fishing day's not done yet. He looked at me and said, you know what I'm going to do? And he starts walking his truck. He said, I'm going to park my truck across this fucking boat ramp and I want to go fishing for a couple hours. And so he went and they fucking hopped in their truck and left. What's up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying this fishing content. Listen, do us a huge favor. As you know, we here at D410 Media, we use a lot of KastKing products. We love KastKing, but we want to share those products with you. So head over to d-410.com/fish. Click on the link, go visit KastKing's website and their ever-growing catalog of fishing gear, apparel, plus much more. They got everything from shirts to fillet knife kits to line spoolers, fishing rods, everything you need, hats, sunglasses, everything you need to go fishing at a super affordable price. Quality stuff. We've been using them for over 4 years. Like, subscribe, and please go to d-410.com/fish. Thanks. When you're so ugly, your auto zoom keeps refusing to focus on you.
It won't move. It won't do nothing.
You probably got a piece of dust on there. Wipe it off with your shirt. It's probably auto focusing on a piece of hair or something. Because it's not focusing on your background. I can make sense of it's trying to zoom in on your background. But yeah, I just don't want to zoom in on you.
What the fuck? Come on.
Come on, you son of a bitch.
Hello.
Hello, Clary.
Sometimes I can put my hand up on it and
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what its deal is.
I'm having all kinds of issues today, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Freaking nasty now. What the fuck?
Because you wiped your greasy ass.
Yeah,
dick
wiped my
all over.
greasy ass dick grippers on it. There is it, Betty.
That's how you know when somebody works service, when they wash their hands before they take a piss.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been that guy.
Oh, yeah, I know where my dick's been. You don't want to know where my hands have been.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah,
You
I
ever been in a
remember-
place so dirty that you figure your dick's the cleanest thing in there, so you don't even bother
Yeah,
washing your
well, I
hands?
built ambulances for a living, and I had to use, my hands were covered in white grease, and whenever we drill holes through the chassis, we'd spray this gray shit on it. It was like, it wasn't quite a primer, it was this, I don't know, liquid compound, but yeah, it's like, you have to wash your hands before you take a piss, otherwise you'd have all that chemicals all over your cock.
I got all that beat.
Try to explain that to your wife why it burns when you pee. No, seriously, it's
I got it from the toilet seat.
I got lithium grease in my urethra. There's a punk band for you. Lithium grease in the urethra. Bet that would burn like a bitch. Yeah.
I used to be a service plumber. Had a lot of nasty shit on my hands.
Yeah, I bet.
And figuratively.
Yeah, I bet.
Unplug the
Okay,
Alexa.
fellas.
Close all the blinds. Grab your tinfoil hats. It's conspiracy time.
Unplug the Alexa. Close all your blinds.
Grab your
About the
tinfoil
it's
hats.
conspiracy time.
Because it's conspiracy time.
Yay.
You guys been paying attention to what's supposed to happen this weekend? First it was Y2K, and then it was the end of the Aztec calendar, one of the Mayan calendar.
Oh yeah, the Mayan calendar.
So there's a series of events that's supposed to culminate either on Easter or Monday, where the world's not going to end, but the world as we know it is going to end. And let me lay out all the details for you. Because as always, you need multiple things to happen for the end of the world.
Does it start with an earthquake? Birds and snakes and airplanes?
I'm still not afraid. Which, by the way, watching Anchorman last night after listening to the opening theme of Stanley's News for 6 years, and then hearing the opening theme for Anchorman, it's like completely changed it for me.
Could make a voice that can make a Wolverine purr.
And suits so fine, it made Sinatra look like a hobo. You familiar with the name Chris Bledsoe? Bledsoe? Bledsoe. You're probably not. But if you're an alien conspiracist, you're probably familiar with him. The North Carolina man, former construction business owner, claims that he had a UFO encounter in 2007 that changed his life. He says he had ongoing, which means it happened more than once, contact with glowing orbs in a being called the Lady. And that's where the prophecy starts. According to him, around 2012 and 2013, he started having visions of a female entity that he refers to as the Lady. Of course, if this was 2025, he would say the non-binary, non-gendered, fluid, transgendered, non-human being. But anyhow, back in 2012, he referred to her simply as the Lady. He later associates her with Hathor, the Egyptian princess, or a divine female figure. What she told him was important. When a specific star, she told him, Regularis, appears on the horizon in front of the Sphinx, something major will happen. That star, Regulus, appears on the eastern horizon before sunrise, in line with the Sphinx gaze, which faces east, on Easter 2026. That's Sunday, fellas. At that moment, a major shift in human knowledge will occur. But it doesn't end there, fellas. What was the first thing that Trump did when he started in his first term in office? He created a new military branch. Remember what that military branch was called?
Space Force.
Space Force.
Do you know the badge of the Space Force?
Yeah, it's like the Star Trek
Logo.
Federation of Planets looking thing.
Hey.
No.
Can't see that?
Ah, there we go. Okay, look at that. Oh, hey, it's like King
Pontiac.
Tut's.
It's the
King
Sphinx.
Tut's sarcophagus. No, it's not. That's
Is,
King Tut's sarcophagus.
that's the Sphinx before he got his nose blown off.
Well, so that's King Tut's sarcophagus then.
That's a
Before.
star and the Sphinx. And so you're like, why would an American Space Force have an Egyptian landmark on it? Well, according to the Lady, it has to do with this prophecy. Once again, these are conspiracy nuts. So that's that. So you had the Lady talking about when the Regulus appears on the eastern horizon before sunrise in line with the Sphinx's gaze on Easter 2026, a major human shift will happen. Now on Friday, we had the Artemis 2 go into orbit. It's going to circle the moon for the first time since the 60s. Some people say this was done intentionally so we can have a reason to have a space shuttle in deep space and not in Earth's orbit. You say, okay, who cares? I say, you're right, who cares? But then Tuesday, former Congressman Matt Gaetz was on Benny What's-His-Dick's conservative podcast talking about when he was in office, he had an Army general in full uniform explain to him that ever since the late 50s, we've actually had a human-alien hybrid breeding farms that we've been breeding aliens and humans for all this time. So now we got the Space Force with the patch. We got the lore of the Lady. We have rumors of human-alien hybrid sex farms. Now, non-conspiratorially, to the fact where Fox News has actually been reporting on it over the last 3 weeks to a month, 4 different high-ranking, one's an Army general, the other ones are high-ranking scientists, and I think there's somebody else who actually have connections with the UFO community that have gone missing or have died in accidents. So that's helping the lore.
They knew something about the Clintons.
That too, or Epstein. Then you have the theory of the big brothers in space. And that is the theory that at some point, the aliens, who are not aliens, they're as we've discussed in past, possibly future humans. They're going to come down and intervene to stop mankind from nuking the shit out of our planet during World War III. Just so happens we got this little pesky little debacle in Iran that we can't figure out how to get the fuck out of. Which, by the way, not a joke. We did lose an F-16 and a Warthog, F-15 and a Warthog today. They're not saying they're not saying the Warthog got shot down. They are admitting the F-15 did get shot down. They recovered one of the two pilots. The navigator's still missing, which is real sucky and scary because when you eject similar time, you usually find each other within a relatively close area. But they found the pilot, but not the at least 2 hours ago, not the navigator. So they're concerned now Iran's going to be actively looking for this one survivor since they know that he's still out there. But yeah, the Big Brother theory is that the aliens shall intervene. So now you mix all this in your conspiracy pot, and you're an alien guy, and hypothetically on Easter, when the lady's prophecy comes true, the aliens are going to come and present themselves. Keep in mind, last year, the government came out and said that there's an alien mothership in our solar system. Which, interestingly enough, the conspiracy theorists then said, well, clearly then that means aliens don't exist. They're just saying that so they can test out their new military vehicles in space without them being seen. Oh, and by the way, the United States government did register UFO.gov, I think 2 weeks ago. So now some people are saying, it's always funny how conspiracy works, right? Oh, aliens. Oh, what's that? The government registered UFO.gov. Well, that's clearly so that when people report their alien sightings, they can see where their new secret military vehicles are being spotted so they can work on their stealth technology. But they got to tell people it's aliens because we can't tell them it's our new military-based drones. So anyhow, I'm saying all that to say this. Who knows? Maybe on Sunday when I post this episode, this shit will be true or it'll just be proven another conspiracy. But with all that being said, the conspiracy theorists have been putting a lot of W's on their fucking scoreboard lately.
Well, that's very true, but I think it's one of two things. It's either this guy was going to go to work, but then he got high. Or
Well, hold on. While we're on that subject, can we all admit that Afro Man's song about the cops were complete trash and the most embarrassing shit ever? Those songs were not funny at all. They actually showed why he was a one-hit wonder. The dude has no musical talent whatsoever. That Lemon Pound Cake song was a fucking atrocious.
that was terrible.
I don't care how high and how much acid you're not, unless you're 12, you're not listening to Lemon Pound Cake by Afro Man.
But I think really what it is it's like the whole Roswell thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think when the government's trying to deflect, they let this shit run wild. And, you know, I've said for a while, there is something going on that the administration doesn't want us to know about. So
other than the Epstein files?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's all bread and circuses. And, you know, it's, eventually we're going to find out what it is. But there's something big brewing that, you know, they don't want a whiff of it getting out. So they're filling the airwaves with all this ridiculous bullshit just to, you know, to keep everybody occupied.
Would be kind of interesting to see a fucking alien walk up on stage with Trump on Monday. Like, yo, here's what's what. We've been around. We've been having sex farms for breeding programs.
So do you think it's going to be like a Men in Black thing, or what do you think
I don't know. We often talk on this podcast that it's always fun when looking at conspiracies to look at it like we're a Hollywood writer writing a screenplay, but in our movie, the conspiracy person actually trying to tell the truth and no one's listening to him. Kind of like, what was that?
Randy Quaid and
or the one-armed man,
Independence Day,
the fugitive, when no one believed that he was the one-armed man. It would be kind of fucking crazy, though. Do you think people with cheese would slide out? Do you think there would be do you think we're so jaded and so just played out by everything that we're like, okay, and just go? Or do you think there'd be a number of nutcases who completely lose their shit and like mass suicides and stuff.
Well,
Maybe
probably, but I mean, I grew up with mini series about alien invasions and the day after and whatever. So it's like none of that shit phases me. It's like an alien could walk up on stage with Trump, and I'd be like, "Yeah, see, I told you, Area 51 had that shit."
We're so jaded, though. Here's exactly what's going to happen, right? Monday comes, you got a gray walk up there, Trump, and then MSNBC and CNN's going to be pissed saying, well, how come ICE isn't deporting that one? That's exactly what's going to happen, right? Oh, why is he allowed to be here? He's as alien as they get.
They're taking our jobs.
Yep. They're going to be pissed that ICE isn't rounding them up. But on the topic of aliens, there is a Bob Lazar documentary coming out called S4, which is supposed to be pretty interesting. Apparently, they worked on it for 4 years, and using CGI with a little bit of touch of AI, they were able to recreate, in his words, almost identical what Area 51 looked like in 1989 when he was working there on that project. It's supposed to be pretty interesting. So that's all I have.
Yeah, I hope that gets declassified in my lifetime.
I think we are pretty jaded when it comes to things.
But how much of a narcissist do you have to be to believe that we all can agree that space never ends? We all can agree that there is life in the form of bacteria on my Mountain Dew lid. But for some reason, once you get off this globe, life doesn't exist anywhere. It's a little narcissistic. I've always believed that we were God's beta, and he's since moved on. We're Windows 3.1. No, we're DOS, okay? He's got Windows 12 running out there somewhere, and we're just making our way into fucking Windows 3.1 from DOS.
We're the neighborhood where people lock their doors when they fly by.
Mm-hmm. We're the Alabama of the cosmos.
Easy now.
Do you think we as Westerners have a bad built-in prejudice that third-party worlds are living in a permanent 1989? I'll give an example. So last week, they put out a second one since, but last week the Iranian propaganda department or someone else put out the Lego video of Trump, and it's anti-American propaganda. I showed that to two different people, which they both said Iran didn't make that, somebody else did, which is a very good possibility. But to say Iran didn't make that is like what? You think they're running Windows fucking 98? You don't think they have access to fucking all the same AI websites we do? And there's a person's like, well, it's in English and it's hip hop. It's like, exactly. That's how propaganda works. In World War II, Japan had a woman. I went blank.
Tokyo Rose.
Tokyo Rose. She was an expat. She would talk shit. This goes out to all the boys off the coast of Guadalcanal. We see you out there. This will be the last time you ever hear the song, Give Up Now. And then they would play top 40 hits of their time. Germany did the same thing. They had that guy, some English chap, talking shit about the Allies. And then they would play hit songs. That's how propaganda works. It's not helpful if it's an Iranian and you're playing Iranian. No, you have to make it in English and music based off of the music of that era in order for people to watch it. But it's almost like we have this predisposed thought, oh, that's Iran. Their technology's from 2002. They don't have the ability. No, they got some of their civilians may have old shit, but their government, they have Google, they have access to ChatGPT and all the same bullshit we do.
I mean, I don't know that we have an underinflated sense of everybody else, but I think we have an overinflated sense of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too.
It's not like this is a video that's claimed to come out of the rainforest of Brazil, and even they have problems now with the internet. What was it like? Starlink showed up in like these Brazilian rainforests, and now the old elders are upset that their fucking dudes have like found porn within day one, and now none of them are wanting to hunt and garden. They're all in there watching porn, and like we got to get rid of the Starlink. Our young men are doing nothing but watching porn now. Like, welcome. They're having 2002 problems now on the Amazon because of Starlink.
I think some of that, when it comes to us having such a big head as Americans, when it comes to that, would be the media and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we've been basically in war since what, 1980. And
Well,
everything that we've seen on the news has been, you know, people walking around in, mud huts and stuff like that there in those countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran,
yeah, and
Pakistan,
I would agree
places
with
like this.
you.
The the richer cities and stuff like that, obviously they've got, high speed internet and, they've got, big beautiful buildings and stuff and whatnot.
And
But
I would agree with you if it wasn't for Ukraine. And but you say, well, Ukraine's a Western, civil, modernized Western, but the Ukraine had the drones, and now Iran are flying the same drones, right? So that, but then again, most people aren't paying attention. Most people
no,
aren't on my algorithm of space aliens and the lady.
Well, I mean, DJI probably delivers to Afghanistan and Ukraine, and
Well, they're going to have to,
just like it
America.
does here. I mean,
Well, actually, no, they're going to deliver there more because the United States Congress has outlawed any new models. DJI cannot sell new models in the United States. They can only sell the existing current models. So all their new shit they cannot sell in the United States, which is kind of bullshit because the reason the
why is
United
that?
well, here's exactly why, which is why I say it's bullshit. DJI does something that a lot of the other drone companies do not do, and that was they wanted to make their drones quality and commercial. And the way to make a commercial was to make the FAA happy. So when you fly a DJI, it uses Google Maps and it's tied in with the flight, the airspace laws.
Yeah.
And so, for example, when I shot my video of my dad's house off of Sanibel during the hurricane, and I went and got footage of the causeway, I could not fly over, I think, 89 feet because the FAA has air restrictions because I'm in the helicopter flight zone for a health park. So my drone physically cannot fly higher than 30 feet or 50 feet in that area. But if you're one of these guys who homemade builds drones or use these cheap third-party drones, they can fly them where the fuck they want.
Yeah.
So because DJI was trying to make their shit commercial and to make the FAA happy, just like when I took my drone to with me on my cruise, I tried to fly it on one of the islands. It flew, said, nope, you're not allowed to fly here, and it landed. So because of that, the government's like, well, the DJI is a Chinese-based company. They have access. They're recording their flight paths. They know our airspace, and so they're using that as a form of spying. But which China probably is. I'm not saying they're not, but the irony is they're pissed off about the flight controls that prevent civilians from flying their product in restricted airspace, which is a good thing. But
well, maybe we should just get like weather balloons
yeah,
because clearly nobody gives a shit how far you fly one of those across the country.
Yeah.
unless you're Elsie Mitchell in her fucking Sunday school class in 1943 in Blythe, Iowa. Was it Iowa or Idaho?
I don't know,
Idaho.
but
Blythe,
well, actually,
Idaho.
there was just one. It wasn't even that long ago that the same thing happened where they came
Oregon. I'm
along and
sorry,
shot
that's your neck of the wood. Blythe, Oregon. Not to
Yeah.
cut you off.
Yeah.
The reason I bring up Elsie Mitchell and her Sunday school class were the only casualties on the continent of the United States during World War II when a Japanese barrage balloon landed in Blythe, Oregon. And her husband, she was pregnant and had some of her Sunday school class. They were heading to church, but the road was blocked by a construction crew. And so this being the fucking 40s, no AC, to keep the kids occupied, they went for a walk in the woods. The kids found a fucking balloon. They went up and touched it, exploded and killed like Elsie and like 5 of the kids. So yeah, that's the only death that happened by enemy combatants on American soil during World War II was Elsie Mitchell and 5 Sunday school kids because of a weather balloon, pretty much.
Well, but there was one not too long ago where they were flying a weather balloon as a like middle school project or whatever, and they got shot down by a Stinger.
That's That's an expensive middle school project.
Yeah.
Speaking of middle school projects,
Shit.
you know why it was so hard for Gen X to sign on to global warming and man-made pollution? What's the one thing we did every year in kindergarten that involved balloons and 3x5 flashcards, Morgan?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Once a year, every elementary school across the fucking nation got helium balloons, flashcards. You put the address of your school on it, and then all you assholes went out in the field and released them into the environment, with the goal being the kid who got the flashcard with the address returned from the furthest distance, meaning if you're in Kentucky and you release it and someone found it 50 miles away and returned a postcard and you have the furthest, you would win a prize. But you're basically just releasing trash into the environment. For years on end, we were doing that shit.
Dolphins and sea turtles and whales
thousands
and
and thousands of fucking vinyl balloons and paper and stringers just released into the wild across the nation. Yep.
Yeah, getting tangled up in power lines and
I'm sure the stuff here in Florida ended up in canals and mangrove bushes and in the ocean. Yep, just go home, watch a crying Indian talking about don't throw trash at your cars after you just got done releasing 2,000 balloons from your school into the fucking environment.
Did you know that guy was not an Indian?
Oh, who? Bleeding Eyes Cody? No, Iron Eyes Cody? No, he was a Dago like the rest of them back then. All the Indians in those 50s and 70s were either Jews or Italians.
Yeah.
Very few of them were Native Americans.
Wow.
Like all the Indians, like in the old spaghetti, not even, well, obviously the spaghetti westerns because they were shot in Italy, but even the ones in the United States, a lot of them were Italians and Jews because they have the Mediterranean skin. Yep. Heaven forbid you hire some real indigenous people to play those roles, but yeah. You fellas have anything on your list? How was your new gig, Morgan?
Oh man, it is so chill.
Bigger town or smaller town?
The town is bigger. The store is smaller. I have less employees, but I mean it's like the first time in a year and a half I haven't wanted to punch a baby. So
All right.
It's always a good day when you finish the day without the desire to punch a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
How about you, Mike? You got any baby punching going on in your future?
I don't think so. Got a lot going on outside of work. So,
did you guys ever get your miles in? I asked you to get in.
Nope.
Yeah, I actually did.
Good.
Nope.
You're the one claiming on the last episode you need to start getting healthy.
Yeah.
I can tell you, go walk a mile. No, too hard. Whoa.
So
Morgan's like, it once? However you want to do it, fella.
Well, my thing is like the fortunate thing is the trash is a quarter of a mile away. So I just walk the loop 4 times.
There you go.
And then I get my mile in. Most of the time I'm holding a drink in one hand and a cigar in the other, but still counts, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I found that I was walking around the community here. I was more apt to want to do it if I had a cigar. and if I had my RC truck and I was driving it.
Well, I guess hypothetically, you don't inhale cigars. They don't have any caloric value to them. So
really,
do you, boo-boo? As long as you're not consuming more calories than you're burning on your mile walk.
Yeah.
Go the light beer.
Yeah, I probably should do that. Drinking extra. That's not good.
Piss water.
Oh, Lord. I need a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been on vacation in 10 years.
Do you get paid vacation through your current employer?
Hmm.
Well, take a vacation, fool.
Yeah, but because construction slowed down for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
all of my PTO that I was using or that I had, that I was acquiring, was getting used to make up for lost time.
Gotcha. Mine doesn't roll over. And I actually got
Ours
with
does.
mine doesn't. So I got with ChatGPT. I'm like, yo, I get 3 weeks a year, but I can't start taking them until you got to earn the time. So it's not like January 1st, you got 3 weeks. I'm like, but how do you do the math? You know, and it basically said May, September, and the end of December. It's like, well, the end of December is around Christmas. Most places won't let you take off time on the holidays.
Yeah.
And basically it says
So they don't.
your best bet is to save 1 week to chop up to use the sick days and then use the other two, one in May and one in September to do your yearly vacations.
Yeah.
What's the crazy thing is this is on the 20th of this month is my 4th year. Next April will be my 5th year and I get 4 weeks of vacation.
So they don't front it to you and then you accrue it.
He
over
did.
the course of the year?
He did this year because when I went to Texas, technically I hadn't accrued any vacation time yet, but because I never call in sick and last year I didn't use up all my vacation days, good faith, he just preemptively used them. But yeah, so I don't know if I want to, because Carrie basically has, she only can, like she's off this weekend for Easter break, and so I don't know if I want to take a full week off or if I want to have a couple 4-day weekends and use them that way. But yeah, I got to figure out. I got 2 weeks to burn up before December.
So use Chat GPT and ask where you get the best bang for your buck, because I saw it somewhere where it outlines if you take this day and this day, you get like 6 days because of the long weekend or whatever.
Yeah, it did. It was like, take Fridays and do a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday, Tuesday, and have a longer, because you got the days and things like that. But yeah, I was thinking about maybe for content for your YouTube channel, I might start taking a Friday off here or there and just drive to like little small towns in Florida and do like drone videos of them and shit like that, and do little small town Florida videos to put up.
So check out this guy. It's called Sidetrack Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he does out in California and Nevada.
I kind of got the idea from David Freiberger because he goes on road trips, but different than Finnegan. He focuses on a lot of the rundown gas stations and shit like that. And then obviously I did the couple of videos I did in Kentucky where I was, I did the Warsaw video, the Rabbit Hash video already, and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, Freiberger's videos are cool as shit, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's Friday. I got shit to do. And I'll talk to you all later. So thank you guys so much for hanging out for another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. Please head over to youtube.com, click on What's in Your Head. We got to get to 500 subscribers. We're at 178 or something like that. We need to get to 500 because that'll be the first milestone for the channel. So head over there and click on there and watch some of the old videos and some of the new videos. And please like, subscribe, share with a friend. Until next week, from myself, Mr. Mike Chicken Neck in the middle, and Morgan Long. We'll talk to you all next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.